Collins and other senators continue to press the U.S. Postal Service to pause planned changes to mail delivery networks nationwide until the potential impacts are studied by the Postal Regulatory Commission. The proposed changes include converting the USPS processing and distribution center in Hamden into a local processing center, which would force outgoing mail processing to the Southern Maine Processing and Distribution Center in Scarborough. The senators are concerned the changes will slow down mail delivery. In a letter also signed by Senator Angus King, they said the Postal Service's primary responsibility is to provide timely and reliable delivery to every community across the nation. While USPS must continue adapting as an agency to remain stable and serve the public's current needs, it must proceed with caution and understand the implications of its plans in order to protect mail delivery for all communities.